Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here on February the 8th, 2024. And I think it's a Thursday. What? Yesterday I was so busy, um, running around, doing some self-care. As you can see, I got my hair cut and doing self-care. That's really important for me, especially at my age. Just take care of myself the best I can because with my parents, they had a lot of issues with their health. Diabetes, heart disease, cancer. The whole everything was there with the two of them, but they did manage to live longer than most. They made it almost to 80, and at some point, based on our situation, you know, if you can make it to 50 years old, that's considered you know, because of the way we are, the way we're set up, we are decreasing our life expectancy, because we're so overcrowded. The food is poison, the water is poison. So that's why I say to people who claim that they want to live, you got a lot of people thinking in a illogical way about wanting to live, but our bodies are not going to allow it at this point until we can resolve the poison that's in our bodies and in the water and the atmosphere. Until those things are managed and resolved, you know, it doesn't matter how healthy we are, quote unquote, or what we do to maintain our health, quote unquote. We still have to deal with elements of our soil. The groundwater, the underground is poisoned in a lot of states, which are probably hidden from us, which I'm sure it is. There are a lot of nuclear reservoirs underground that are just sitting there, and a lot of people are under the illusion that they'll dissolve themselves within 100, 200, 3. I mean, that's if you just think about it, you know. So so again, we are responsible for taking care of this vehicle, this body, this material body. That's our responsibility to read the labels and see if you can understand what it all means. And then you can do supplements. I take a lot of vitamins, so I feel good. I feel like I'm in my 30s. Nobody can ever guess that I'm not. I'm almost 60. So, and a lot of it has to do with your consciousness and how you feel inside, how you take on and manage your life. And that's important too. Everything is about the consciousness, really. And that's our responsibility as well, to evolve our consciousness. So, all right, so let me go on to something else that's happening. It's just a shame about what's going on, per se, how people are manipulating themselves, thinking they are manipulating us in their quest to be better than they are, and to be better than everybody else, and want to be the ones to be putting out quote unquote blueprints of life when they can barely wipe their ass properly. And I mean that literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. Some of these so-called experts can barely change a light bulb, okay, can barely start a vehicle, because they're so used to everything else happening for them with these conveniences of technology. They're clueless about what it means to be a human being in the truest sense. And yet they're the ones that want to come forward and say, okay, I'm an expert. Blah, blah, A genuine human being has experiences. Okay. They usually have lots of jobs. They have lots of abilities, and skills. Even though, and a lot of it, people call it a hustle. I mean, that's a skill and abilities, actually. I mean, yes, it's a hustle. You can call it whatever you want. Again, the words are irrelevant. It's the behaviors and actions. But so many of us, especially the creative types, the creative minds, can do a lot of things other than our own creativity. Like me, I used to write books, or used to write, not books. I published too, and I'm just not happy with that range of my skills and abilities anymore. Because I used to keep all kind of literature and documents that I've written, and I lost a lot of it during my travels and moving around. I lost a lot of it. You know, but I can do other things too. So a lot of people are useless, so they believe, because all they can do is one thing. They can just write. Okay, what else can you do? Do you know how to clean up? Do you know how to, you know, change a light bulb? Do you know how to change tires? Do you know how to um, do whatever it is? Have other skills. Can you cook? You know, do you know how to wipe your ass properly? So it's just amazing what is going on, and I know and I sense that a lot of people are figuring it out. So that's why I feel uh, so much joy and enthusiasm, because some people will be. I mean, they're gonna wake up with a bang, okay, like the Big Bang, and say, "Whoa, what the hell?" It's gonna be too late in a physical sense for a lot of us. A lot of us are not gonna survive the destruction of Mother Nature, the destruction of the climate. Our bodies are not going to be able to take it. Whether it's a respiratory, whether it's cancer, whether it's this or that or the other, whether it's storm related, whether it's domestic because of that dynamic with the personalities of people. But at the same time, you still want to continue moving forward and be righteous and trust yourself. You get the warnings. You get the warnings if something's about to happen. For some people, it's too late. They're already in the midst of, being harmed to the point of death, unfortunately, whether it's at the hands of others, like I said, or whether it's climate related, whether it's this or that or the other. Be righteous otherwise. Because again, like I said, everything is documented. Okay? Everything. Everything about you, the individual, is documented. When in your storage bank, that's a part of your structure, a part of your personality. We have a planetary storage bank and we have a cosmic storage bank. So nothing is lost again, ever, regarding this planet. Because we've been plagued and delayed in evolution, stuck, restrained, whatever the terms you want to admit, want to use, when it regards our memory and who we are, what we are, and why we are. So many of us have, our memories are constantly being wiped out over the course of time, usually over the course of hundreds of years or so, maybe thousands of years or so. People forget who they are. They don't realize that they're human beings in the true sense, but yet we want to be more than that. And we go so extreme to where we're unrecognizable. We have created monsters rather than human beings. And that's going to take some time to clear up. Okay? But like I said, there are some of us that know this kind of stuff. We know what's at stake, and we are doing the best we can to help and educate or inform, blah, blah, blah. The main thing, what I want to do is just disseminate. I'm not necessarily teaching you, going to say I'm teaching you anything. I'm just going to give you some techniques. I'm going to, share my situations and do the best I can to help you, because that's what we're supposed to do, help each other. Okay? And you're going to have a lot of people come, like I said, there's software out there that's been out there since the 80s, when we first went online. And chances are it was that way prior to that, but it's because I remember when I started meditating back in well, that was in the 80s, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I started meditation in the 80s, right around after I graduated from high school. All of a sudden one day, um, a, a cassette came into the mail, because that's what we used back in the day. Cassette tapes. It came in the mail. It said something about, I'm not sure the title. And I remember listening to that, and I think I went into the sounds and tones out of that man's voice on that tape was so calming. I felt like I was propelled out in the universe somewhere, where all that peacefulness in his sounds and tones. That's what matters. Your sounds and tones does matter as to how you can calm yourself down, as well as make it calming around other people, and calm everybody else down, neutralize everything, be harmony, to have some harmony, some it's like beautiful piece of music, a beautiful piece of sound. And some people have that kind of voice that does that. That dude had it. That dude had that voice. Okay, and I don't know how that cassette ended up coming to my parents' house, and I think it had my name on it. But you know what? Back in the day, I know why, because I used to sign up for all type of things when I was living at my parents' house, especially when it was about self-improvement. I was really into that. I really wanted to I just wanted to be understood. And sometimes when I used to express myself, I was not, voice. It was, I was confusing myself. Well, not confusing myself, but confusing others. And they had a hard time understanding, okay, what do you want? And then my feelings were all over the place. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? It makes it hard for people to understand. So I was so thankful for that. And that's how I started my meditation, I think it was like I said, it was in the 80s, the middle 80s or something. And that voice is like, got me into a rhythm, because that's what life is to get yourself in some type of rhythm of life and paying attention to the sounds and tones. Because I do that all day long. And I especially do it when I lay down to go to sleep, or lay down not to sleep, lay down to rest. I have to pay attention. Just now I just heard a cat meowing. So I don't know who has that cat, but I hear it all the time. But yes, I pay attention to the sounds. I pay attention to the tones. And I kind of get myself, okay, where am I? What am I doing? I ask these questions all the time to where it's automatic now. Okay. And I pay attention to every little sound until I get familiarized with it. And then I do the same thing visually. I pay attention to my roof, because my roof looks a little weird. But this is an old building. So you're going to hear little cracks and this and that. That's why you really, really need to pay attention to your foundation in any home you live in. There's no such thing as a catastrophe-proof home. That's delusional and illogical, especially when you have a climatic destruction posed on our planet. Okay, with the weather. If everything was so-called quote unquote catastrophe free, why is there billions upon billions upon billions of damages to structures all over this country, all over the world? The foundation is, literally, figuratively, metaphorically destroyed. Okay? And that's where we are. And scientists have dropped the ball. Okay, so in the future, when the descendants or our children or our ancestry or our lineage, they're going to recognize what was not done and why. Okay, a lot of it has to do with greed. A lot of it has to do with wanting to be more than they were. They thought they were going to get the women. They thought they were going to get the men. They thought they were going to get the children. All right, we have that all over the planet. Predators, leeches, and parasites that are after other human beings. They're worse than man eaters. The way they prey on each other and watching what everybody's doing in everybody's bedroom, listening to conversations, got satellites all over the country that can zoom inside your home if they choose to. Be realistic about that. Okay, we got news media, they got satellites. Okay, so guess what news media's outlets can do, some of them, if they choose to. They can zoom in on your bedroom or listen to you from your laptops, your cell phones, your other electronics, your televisions, those so-called quote-unquote smart TVs. They can zoom into your home, zoom into your environment, and like these other devices out there that you give them a command and they do what you tell them to do. That's going to turn on you. Those of you that are not thinking for yourselves, and that means genuinely thinking, meaning you are applying logical, rational, and reasonable thinking. You're involved. You are immersed in your thinking. Just like I said, I pay attention to sounds. I pay attention to, how I'm feeling, what's going on my body, within me. All of the sensings, what I see, hear, taste, smell, sense and receive, blah, 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 blah. What's my reality? What am I standing on? What am I sitting on? All of that. I do all of that unconsciously, though. It's become unconscious, meaning it's working in the background without me necessarily having to, be necessarily paying attention to it somewhat. In other words, it's going into a natural flow. It's flowing. I'm not at a point of where I'm autonomous, meaning I got outside things helping me to think, and helping me to make decisions and blah blah blah. I make the decisions within. Okay, a lot of people use this technology and type into these commands of software, just so they can steal someone else's creativity, steal someone else's words, steal someone else's this or that and the other, and put it in a spin chamber, and then let it spew out stuff, and then they'll put their name on it. I noticed that's happening a lot too. And some people actually know people that are doing that because they know them personally. And they know these type of words and quotes does not fit the person that you know. A lot of people know that. They know that they're fraudulent and they're frauds and imposters. But, I would not interfere with it. Allow people to control their narrative. Allow people to speak. Even though I don't have time to listen to what everybody else is saying. I mean, that's illogical to believe that I would be able to do that. I got my own thinking and responsibilities and accountabilities to worry about. But I do kind of get flashes of what people are saying online, flashes of people that I interact on outside, of what they're saying and what they're doing, trying to pay attention. And I was really impressed with someone I was talking to yesterday and how they're paying attention to the crowds and the overpopulation of people. And a lot of people that I have talked to say, you know what? I just don't ever remember it being this way, with the crowds. and one person I was talking to, they said, I'm going home and I'm thinking to myself, where are these people going? That's a great question. Where are these people going? Okay, because this all night traveling, some people do it for their jobs, yes, but not everybody is doing all this traveling, this aimlessly traveling, all day and night. they're literally, figuratively, metaphorically, in my opinion, trying to find a home because they're lost. Okay, a lot of them are lost in their own behaviors and actions. In other words, their behaviors and actions cause them to be lost, confused in an abyss. Deja vu, deja vu, deja vu, and then they wonder, and I told you they're gonna believe. Okay, if I move on into a good neighborhood, quote unquote, whatever that is, I'm gonna go over here to the good neighborhoods. They're gonna run into this. They run into more problems than especially people who claim they're in gated communities, quote unquote. They feel so safe in gated communities, and they have security there, armed security, but yet they're still victimized in one way, shape, or fashion, regardless of all of that. So there's a lot going on. I'm here for the ride, honey. I feel good about what I'm doing, but I know that one person can't do it. And I recognize in the midst of all of that, you're going to find fraud, deceptions, imposters, manipulators, indoctrinators, people that are less than genuine about their intentions. Don't be concerned. I say don't be concerned about that, because there will be a separation. There will be. Okay, the dawning of the age of Aquarius and beyond is about opening up knowledge, opening you up to knowledge, and it's cosmic. It's something that I can go around and talk about what it actually means, but each individual needs to understand what it means to them. I can tell you what it means to me, and that may be a guide stone, quote unquote, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. Remember what I said about the guide stone? Okay, that literal structure of a guide stone. Because back in the day, that's how we were left messages and this and that and the other by people doing that. But like I said, from here on out, that's not going to be necessary, and I'm not going to talk too much more about that. What I will say is that a lot of people are going to be exposed. A lot of people are going to be despondent because they're exposed, and a lot of people are going to cause harm to themselves and maybe attempt to bring in others because of their exposure. So guard yourself against this, even though somebody may claim they're leaders and claim they're this or claim they're that, they're going to be put to the test, so to speak. In other words, like I said, with the dawning of the age of Aquarius, it's about it's a knowledge. It's an unconscious filtering in of knowledge, okay, and a filtering out, an elimination of beliefs, supernatural, faith, and convictions. And a lot of people are not going to be able to take that, because a lot of people ride their lives on their beliefs and their faith, which is nothing but smoke and mirrors at the end of the day. But figure it out on your own. Test it. If you want to test your beliefs, but remember, your beliefs have to be reproducible. Can you reproduce your beliefs? So do these kind of things where no one has to know. No one has to know that you are attempting to go deep, deep, deep and understand what the hell is really going on. Your consciousness will impose ideas to you where it'll help you, like, wait a second, it'll help you think. Because I'm telling you, if you stop thinking, you're dead. And a lot of people do not think. They just follow instructions. They march in formation. They let technology make decisions for them. That's how you know you're not thinking. You're not making your own decisions. You're asking somebody else. And I knew people that were like that. in relationships. I knew many a couples like this, where, when I was in as a first responder on the street, I would be attempting to talk to one person, and then another person will always attempt to intervene and speak on that person's behalf. And that's indoctrination, and that's abusive, because that person that I'm attempting to talk to usually couldn't answer the question anyway. I would ask them simple questions and they could not answer. They'll look to their partner and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. You know, and a lot of people love that. Those that are allowing someone to be under their control like that, they love it. Where this person does not speak unless they're told to speak. And this person is holding their, and I can remember too where I would ask someone for personal information, personal physical information. And guess who's holding it? Their partner is holding it, or their master. That's what, their master is holding their documents. Their pertinent documents are being held by their masters, whether they're their husbands, partners, or whatever. Okay, that's that hard, literal. Visualize it. Okay, and now imagine that on a figuratively metaphoric level. Who's holding your documents? Right? Who's controlling you? Who do you have to look to make decisions for you? Okay. So a lot of things are going to be happening. A lot of things are going to be going so fast. A lot of people are not going to be able to keep up. Again, some people are already in an abyss. And so you don't want to necessarily be concerned with arguing with them or attempting to persuade them, convince them, to change. That's an individual choice. And make sure, but you can say to them, look, whatever decisions you make or not make, remember your power of free will. And so that puts it right back on them. Okay, and because you refuse to accept that you have free will, doesn't necessarily, it still affects, things will affect you, whether so it's best to have the hold of the wheel yourself and steer it properly, instead of worrying about everything being self-operated. I mean, what they call it, autonomously operated, meaning they're operated by equipment and software and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people think that's so powerful to have someone else controlling their lives that way. Got something flying around in here. So I'm going to keep talking. And thankfully, like I said, you can swipe. That's your free will. So that's why I say to others, control your narrative, speak. If you think you have something to talk about, speak about it. Okay? You're responsible and accountable for what you say or do, right? So have the courage and come from behind being hidden hands. Tell us why you decided to be a hidden hand. Operating behind the scenes and controlling things, wanting to control everything. Come out, wherever you are. You're going to get exposed anyway. So tell us why. Tell us why you want to indoctrinate people. Tell us why you want to enslave people. What does that do for you? I would love to hear about it. Why do you need to lie to people? Why do you want to be a so-called quote-unquote sophisticated liar? What does that do to you to lie about your intentions? I would love to hear that side of it too. I mean, I would say something about it before you get exposed and before you harm yourself, because you will. That's going to be your saving face in your delusion. You're gonna admit that you're gonna admit to somebody, maybe not, maybe within, but I would love to hear your side of it. I'm talking about the hidden hands. Why do you need to operate in that fashion behind the scenes like that? Why do you want to control our brains? Okay, what do you want to know about in our brains, by implanting devices and this and that and the other? What's that all about? I'm sure everyone would love to know what brought you to that. What brought you to your delusional, deviant, and why did you become so degenerate? I'm curious, and I'm sure others are. Okay, save yourself, because you cannot, and you will not, regardless, you will not avoid being affected by all of this stuff. Okay, cause and effect, reaping what you've sown, the boomerang, okay, the pendulum. That's that energy that you cannot evade, you cannot avoid. So go ahead and release that. You again, you can do it silently, in other words, to yourself, because no one has to know. But if you're willing to speak about it and teach us why you are such as you are, consider that. I know a lot of it is manipulation, because I know some have attempted to come forward and try and did whatever they could to explain their behavior, but I sense it was manipulation, unfortunately. But it doesn't hurt for you to silently record that for yourself and leave it for your descendants and explain it to your descendants why you are so deviant and degenerate, so that your ancestry, your descendants, can understand and do everything in their power to kind of change themselves and not repeat the same old flaws, and that parasite predator type of ancestry. Okay, so that's it for now on this February the 8th, 2024, on a Thursday on the West Coast, east side of town. Baby. I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous, because I am. Can you tell? Can you tell by my sounds and tones? Also, don't forget to laugh, have a good time. Why not? Okay, you have more to gain by just, and like I said, at the snap of a finger, you can get yourself out of a lot of trances. Okay, you can. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Your consciousness and everything about your being, BEINGS, is there to help you, support you, and most importantly, save you. All right? So I'm going to send peace and love right now all over stars, moon, and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.